Hello, welcome back to my watercolor card channel. I love producing content for you guys, and it is about springtime. So today I thought, why not use our awesome die cuts to make some beautiful die cuts like you see here in the tulip cards. We are going to play with die cuts. We're going to use watercolor and brusho to get some beautiful textures in our die cut, and it's going to be so much fun. These are the two tulip cards that we'll be making. You can use any pattern paper and any kind of background that you would like for those cards. These are made with just greenery dies that I made from brusho. And then I also have some cone flowers, or in this case I think they look more like rudabecas than cone flowers, but it is going to be fun. We're going to just have a lot of fun, and you're along for the ride. It's going to be great. So get your brushos out and your watercolors and your die cuts and some stamps, and let's have some fun. First things first, die cuts. These come from Tailored Expressions. They are called the Garden Variety #1 and #2. I also have some other die cuts that I may or may not be using, but for this project I'm using the tulip and the stem, but I'll be cutting all of them out at the same time to save on time. I get some of my paper wet. I'm using different colors, and I'm just getting the whole paper wet on mixed media paper. This is 98 pounds, so it's a little bit lighter, which makes it perfect for die cutting. And you're just going to see me kind of play with my textures and just make some beautiful, really I'm just throwing paint on the paper, which is so much fun. If you need a way to de-stress a little bit, this is a great way to do it. Alright, so let's talk brusho. Brusho is a pigment or an ink crystal. It's really just ink crystals, and you activate brusho by like putting water on the paper. I also love to use some iridescent watercolors to go along with it, and if I need it, I have my artistry palette full of different colors. But brusho is one of my favorites for adding texture to my watercolor. And what you see what I'm doing here is I'm adding some of that brown and that darker brown together, and I'm getting this really, really fun texture that you couldn't get really anywhere else. And I'm just tapping a little bit on at a time, and I'm just letting the brusho crystals do its thing. I don't like to paint on with brusho. You can use it like watercolor, but I use it for the texture. And then I have a squirt bottle with water that I just fill up, and I will use a brush to kind of keep my water where I want it to go, and then I let it dry, and I'll do the same thing. This is just a wet onto wet, and I'm going to add some violet, beautiful violet. Look at that, so pretty, and it just kind of does its thing. And it's okay that the paper curls, because that's part of the fun, in my humble opinion. And I just have fun with it. Have fun with these brushos. Oh my gosh, that's what they're meant for. It's so fun. And then I will also add a little bit of that gold, iridescent gold, just for something fun and different. You'll see me use a paintbrush, and I'm just kind of moving the pigment around a little bit, just because I want to get a lot of color onto my paper as much as I can. And now I'm using this artistry metallic palette, and this is the iridescent like slipper color. I think it's called Cinderella Slipper or something. It's just really pretty. It has a purpley iridescent look to it. And so I'm just sprinkling that on as well. Once all my paper dries, I'm going to go into my sizzix. I'm going to get my dies all ready to go. That's what I'm doing. You'll see me put the tape on my hand and then put it on, and that's so the tape isn't as tacky. And I'm just using washi tape, but you could use masking tape or scotch tape. It does not matter. You just don't want it to stick or hurt the paper. And so now I'm just cutting out my shapes, and I'll be doing that for all the different colors that I have, including my brusho sheets. I have lots and lots of dies to cut, lots of paper to cut. You're going to see me do this process a lot. I think I took about 2 hours to cut up all of my watercolor paper that I wanted. And the result is you have a bunch of floral pieces that you can make lots of cards out of. And so I enjoy taking the afternoon and just doing this. It is somewhat tedious, but it is a lot of fun. That is red, crimson red brusho. It is one of my favorite colors, and it is so bright and so pretty to work with. I love red tulips, and so I had to have this color in my tulips. And there's no simple way of getting these out of the dies. You just have to use like a little pin, like for sewing, to get them out. You can also use like a pokey tool is the name I'm calling it, that will poke out your paper. There's probably a normal name for that, but the pokey tool works and I love it. And of course, when you're done, you have all of this paper. Goodness, look at how much I cut out. Oh my gosh, it took me a couple hours to do. It was well worth it, and I'm happy to be done with that. So after after the whole process of watercoloring the paper, cutting the paper, and then making the die cuts like into something organized, I am going to store these for other cards. And these cards are going to be made like on the fly, or I just have them for a later date. All right, I have 4 of these cute little tulips that I just have, and I wanted to make a quick little card with them. So what I did was I found some paper in my paper stash that is a little bit lighter than the pink that's on the tulip, but in the same color scheme, and cut it out to the size that was just a paper scrap. So then I just cut it out with the die cut that would match the size of the paper that I knew would work for the tulips. So that's what I'm doing. And then this was another like half a sheet of paper. So I just ran this die cutting plate through my sizzix just to get a nice little background, and this background is going to go right like that. So I'm going to trim this up so it's the size of the card, and I'll be right back. Time-saving tip that I have is to, when you can, cut out some of your sentiments beforehand. When you have like an hour and you don't really feel like being creative, but you want to do something creative, like doing the work ahead of time, so then when you are feeling creative, you have the tools and the resources that you need. So I just bought simple strips and from Tailored Expressions. It's a stamp, and then you can die cut them into little strips, and they make really perfect sentiments for your cards. So I found some pattern paper that works with this tulip. I wanted a single tulip, and that's too busy, so I needed a bigger shape. I love geometry with florals, and this will work, but it can't be right on here. So what I did is I found some solid paper with the right kind of like a totally different color that will unify the purple geometric and the green and this tulip. And like, don't think about it too much, but browns, like this is pretty muted colors, and it's not bright, so that's why I chose brown, just as it was muted. If it was a brighter color, maybe I would choose a like a lighter brown or something, I don't know. Anyways, and I had this strip from the other tulip card, and I thought, well, I'll just use this as well. So I'm gonna put this on like that, and that's how the card's going to be, and it's going to be very symmetrical but yet beautiful. So I'm working on that. I'm going to be gluing things together. And alright, so thank you for coming along with me and working on these spring tulip cards. They are so much fun to use. I love using the brusho. I couldn't have gotten these effects without brusho. You could do watercolor, but brusho and watercolor, when you actually create the art and then cut out the artwork, with die cuts, it really just brings like a whole new level to your card making. It doesn't have to be elaborate by any means, but it is so fun to see. Other examples that I have done, which will have videos as well, is just greenery. Look at how pretty that is. The background is embossed with a simple sentiment with a whole bunch of greenery around it, and it just makes for a really pretty card. Another one that I have done is with black-eyed Susans, is what we call them. They're also called coneflowers or rudabecas. And I wanted to make one like for my church friends with a scripture on it. So I thought that one turned out really lovely. And all I did was I used an arch die for that. And then I also used this one. It's the same sort of thing. I just wanted it to... I wanted the sentiment to stand out, and I wanted the florals to decorate that sentiment. So there we go. Lots of fun, beautiful cards, and all you do is you just put your watercolors, use your die cuts, and make some beautiful cards. So anyways, if you found this video to be helpful, I would sure appreciate a big, huge thumbs up and a subscribe to my watercolor channel. I make watercolor cards every week and post them, and it is so much fun to share my love with you guys, and I'm grateful to be here. So anyways, happy creating, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.